Here we are at Creative Studios, and we've just recorded a session with Salad. I'm delighted to be joined by Paul and Marijne. Hello, Paul and Marijne.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Well, tell us a little bit about Salad for any of our listeners who don't know much about you. What did you get up to 20 years ago, and why are you here now?
That's a big question, isn't it? 20 years ago, so let's say 25 years ago.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. 25 years ago, we were at the cusp of just before Britpop, and there was a thing going on called girl-fronted indie bands, female-fronted indie bands.
Catchy.
Yeah. In fact, Louise Wenner still wears a T-shirt now saying female-fronted band, which is cool, because that's what we were known as. And so we sort of, that was a thing that was going on that kind of propelled us into the press. Our music, what did we have? We had a top 20 album.
Called Drink Me.
We toured with Blur on their first tour that they promoted Park Life. That was a buzz. So we were the first to hear Girls and Boys and Park Life, every night, and going, "Oh, these are great," not knowing obviously what it would turn into. So that was fun. That was 93. And then we did loads of touring, did some, I think our videos were, I think we were really into our videos. We really had a lot of say in our videos, creatively, how they looked, and I think that they still stand the test of time.
And you had a major label machine behind you because you're on Island Records, and you got 2 albums, which is probably one more album than major labels give bands these days.
Yeah.
More than us. Yeah.
And I hear that Lily Allen is criticising Island at the moment for not promoting her album enough. So she's hoping that because it's been on the Mercury Prize, that's going to help it. So I'm thinking, well, that reminds me of how it was, And these days, we're doing it ourselves, and it's great to have total creative control.
I wouldn't want to criticise Ireland, actually, because they gave us the means to be who we wanted to be for a while. We started out with Island Red, which is an indie label. They created it just for us, which was nice of them. Yeah. And then I think our album Ice Cream was actually on Island, and I think then it all went a little bit, I wouldn't say tit-shaped, that's not the right word. Pear-shaped, tits up, because there were too many cooks trying to, spoil the broth. And they, the people who were just doing their job didn't know what on earth we were about, really. And they wanted one thing from us and we wanted another, and it all just sort of slowly petered out and fell apart. And so we ended up sort of doing our own thing for a bit between 97 and 98, and called it a day in 98.
Yeah, you had a few good years behind you. And you had the top 20 album, you had a second album, and you had quite a few singles as well, and lots of TV appearances, many of which are still on YouTube.
Thank you, Paul. You know more than us.
And you know what? It was a very organic thing. Pete, the bass player, was at school with me. Marijne and I were an item about 100 years ago, slightly before Salad. And Rob, the original drummer, was a guy who lived in Marijne's same house as Marijne. And then when we got Donald in as a producer for the second album for Ice Cream, and Donald and I particularly have stayed in touch all these years. And in the period when Salad was dormant, which is between 98 and 2018 or 16.
16.
Donald and I were recording songs. We recorded so many, but we just didn't have we didn't know what to do with them.
They didn't have the nous.
We didn't have the impetus.
They had no idea how to push themselves. They had no idea how to sell themselves. They had that gold mine of songs
and
that
Rob,
publishers would absolutely die for, but nobody knew.
And we did
so
record.
We plundered their treasure chest of songs.
We recorded 4 of them on the Good Love, Bad Love album. Yeah. So what happened in a nutshell was I was doing little solo gigs. Marijne came along to one, enjoyed it, and we started doing little gigs together. And that's about the time when we came in and did your show a couple of years ago.
That's right. That was just over 2 years ago. You came in and
That's
did it.
right.
Because I'd seen you a couple of months before that in Crystal Palace.
That's right.
Tiny little.
That was our first gig as a two-piece. Our first proper gig as a two-piece. We didn't even know what we were called.
That was
then.
July 2016.
I think on that occasion you called yourself the MBs.
The MBs.
The MBs because that's short for the Merry Babes. The Merry Babes were the band that we were in when we were a couple. And then once we had evolved into a more loud band, we got a proper drummer and a bass player, and that's when we became Salad. But
we're going back and forth here. So that was Salad.
Doesn't matter.
20 years ago.
Doesn't matter. Stop.
But to continue where I've got to, because Salad.
I'm drunk on vegetable paste.
She's drunk on vegetable paste. So the two of us were doing acoustic stuff, and Marijne came up with the name Salad Undressed, which works on about 3 levels. And then Donald joined us, and we did the album Good Love, Bad Love by Salad Undressed. But it doesn't sound like a particular acoustic album. It's quite a full album. And at about the same time, we got offered a gig at Indie Days for Salad if they would reform. And that was the catalyst. We never thought it would happen. But when it happened, with Donald joining on drums, it just worked, and we've just kept going, and we're writing new songs, and we've done a couple of new songs for you today.
Yeah, and we have Donald outside, and we've also got Charlie outside, who's on guitar, and Pete, the original bassist, as well, of course.
I think Donald might be eating a donut or something.
Probably.
outside.
Possibly, yeah. They did have the option of joining us today.
They declined.
Politely declined.
That'll be the beast.
Respectfully declined.
Respectfully.
Okay, so we played 4 songs today. So tell us about the songs that you played.
Right. The first one we did was called Cut and Cover. It still is called Cut and Cover. It's from the Salad Lost album that you had but lost.
That's right.
It was a session. It was part of a session that was we were still signed to Island in 1997, and we were recording demos for the new album that they never kept us on for. We recorded that and Big Monkey Girl and another song called Debonair. They're all on the Lost album. So in Cut and Cover, we thought we'd do, because we recently did a poll on Facebook to see what fans would like to hear us play in the next lot of gigs we're doing, because we're going to do it slightly differently. We're going to do B-sides. We're going to do B-sides. We're going to do some album tracks that we haven't played before, as well as the singles. And Cut and Cover was the ones that they were sort of calling out for. And it's very melodic. It's a story. And it's about a party on the Circle Line. And of course, Paul would love to tell you, but I'm going to, that the Circle Line, you can't go round and round anymore on the Circle Line, because it's now a D shape, or a D shape on its belly.
It's like a balloon with a wire.
Yeah.
You have to change at Edgware Road. But in the old days, people used to have parties on the Circle Line. And the way the Circle Line was made was cut and cover. They'd cut a trench, put in the tracks, and then cover over, rather than being a deep level tube. I don't want to get too technical about the underground, but
or nerdy.
So that's what that song is about. And tonight was the first time we played it live in 20 years, and it was good to be able to play it. And what was the next song? Completely new one that Marijne and I wrote.
Completely new song called
Time to Escape.
Time to Escape. As per usual, I'd be sitting at my computer, Paul sitting on the sofa behind me, because Paul comes over to my place quite a lot. That's why I don't have a cat. Because he's allergic. I'd love a cat, but no, can't have a cat. So he comes over.
I thought you meant Paul was the cat. It was like a cat substitute, because he's just sitting around your place.
Well, I'm a bit feline.
Yeah, and cuddly. So he always picks up the guitar and starts strumming away, and I just went, hold on a minute, that's good. And so we wrote Time to Escape. We started writing it. And then you came over the next week and said, I need to come over and write it again, but my cleaner was there. So we moved around from room to room where she wasn't to finish writing Time to Escape. Yeah. So each lyric, I can picture which room it was written in. Some of them written in my son's room.
And it's quite, I think somebody said it reminded them of Pink Floyd. It's sort of Dark Side of the Moon. That. Yeah. And we've always loved Pink Floyd, and we're not ashamed. Why should we be? Yeah,
who's telling you to be ashamed?
The lords of punk rock.
Didn't Johnny Rotten like Pink Floyd?
Yes,
I know
of course he did.
He wore T-shirts saying "I hate Pink Floyd" famously, but he loved them though. Didn't he?
Loved Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd, definitely. Yeah. So that was that track. And what else did we do?
This reminds me of that show, New Zealand or Australia. Brentwood.
Ah.
Okay.
Next track.
Yes.
It's your new single. It's out on November the 9th.
Selfishness.
The selfishness.
The shellfishness of love.
The selfishness of love.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
You wrote this song, part of it, 20 years ago.
Yeah. I wrote it. Yeah, I was trying to do a song that was a 3-chord song, and I almost managed it, but in the middle 8, I think another chord comes in. But it's a 3 chords where the chords change round, but I think that's why it just has this movement. Because it doesn't deviate.
That is unusual for you, a 3-chord song, because you already mentioned Pink Floyd, and your music, although you did get lumped in with Britpop and typical 90s indie, you've always been a little bit proggy.
Yes.
Thank you. Indie prog is what we like. We don't mind that. We're not that proggy, but we're also not a straight indie pop band either.
I liked it that you said thank you when I said that, because it wasn't an insult. It's a good thing, isn't it?
We don't sing about elves or space travel, but we are quite happy to experiment and open up. I've just written
a song about elves and space.
Oh, well, we'll do it on the next album. But we have an idea for this new album of it's like a suite called the Time
Trilogy.
The Time Trilogy, because it's a song by Marijne using a poem by her friend Alice as the main lyric, and that's called Time. And then I had a song called Time Fills Up. And then the third part of the trilogy is Time to Escape. So that's quite prog, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
Shine on you crazy diamond.
We're going to make it work.
If it's one song and on the album you put the Roman numerals on each one, rather than have 3 different songs.
Perhaps, and a bit like the long medley on side 2 of Abbey Road, Beatles.
Yeah. First prog band, Beatles.
Yeah,
not many people know.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. And we also had a oldie that you played tonight for us.
Can we just say the last thing about Selfishness of Love?
Sorry.
Is that, it was based on something I'd written years ago, but then Marijne and I got together and rewrote a lot of the lyrics and put a new bit in. So it's actually a Paul Marijne composition, because we developed it recently. So it feels like a new song to us,
Yeah, and it's why I love it. It's fast, it's fun, it's furious, and it's got load of hooks, yeah, which I didn't realise until somebody said this morning, I love your new song, because I sent her a sneaky rehearsal version because she's very sick, as not terminally, but she's not feeling very well. I'm like, here you go, this will cheer you up. And she said, oh my God, it's been going around my head, I woke up with it, I love it, so many hooks. I'm like, oh yeah, hooks, I hadn't realised. Hooky.
It's hook laden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And talking of which, last song, Drink the Elixir, a classic from the mid-90s. Still gets a lot of play on big radio stations and Phoenix. So.
Yeah.
And it's a nod to our erstwhile drummer Rob, who we're still friends with, and he's come to see us play, and he's got a bit tearful coming to see us play. It's an emotional thing, but he didn't want to be part of it this time, but everything's fine. And that song is probably our calling card. It's the song we're known for,
Yeah.
And it's a song that you still enjoy playing.
Absolutely.
You already told me what your least favourite salad song was, and I'm not going to repeat that for anybody.
Mine, not his. My least favourite.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got the new single coming out, and to support some of the B-sides and album tracks and so on, you've got a series of gigs coming up in the autumn.
Yes, I think the autumn is here.
It is now.
We have got a great show to start off with the Blue Tones at Indie Days 2018, which is at the 100 Club on the 3rd of October, sold out. That's gonna be hot and sweaty. Then we have some headline shows in November. 14th of November at the London O2 Academy. No,
in Islington Academy.
Not the Brixton one.
O2 Islington.
O2 Islington. And then the 15th of November, again, the O2 Academy in Oxford. Then we head down to Minehead for the Shine On reunion of all the bands that we played with. A lot of them we played with Starshape last year. Sleeper, My Life Story, Shed 7 are headlining that day. It's a Friday. We've got Darling Buds. Who am I missing out?
Collapse Maze, Collapse Lung. It's a good lineup.
Yeah,
and that really is November the something.
16th.
Yeah.
And then 6th of December in Doncaster as well at the Leopard.
And then
a long break.
A long break because you've
gigging.
got other business to get on with, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got an new settled album that needs to be recorded. And, yes, the DIY revolution is here, doing it all yourself, but that means you don't have the record company money to just put you in a studio for 3 weeks or whatever, how long it takes to record an album. So we need to take snippets here and there. We're all doing other stuff, whether it's jobs or families or whatever, and we need to find those slots that we can get together. And that's quite hard, actually.
And Donald is producing it. And although we went into a proper studio to get all the drums down, live drums, we wanted real drums and bass, we got the basic songs down. Now we're adding vocals and guitar overdubs and things like that, so we can go over to his house and do that. And it's not always the whole band. I'll go over and do a few overdubs, and then Marijne will go on another
details.
But that's how it is these days.
That is how it is, but we've only done like 5 songs, and we've got
6 songs, yeah.
We've got like so many songs to choose from.
So we're hoping for maybe another single in early next year, and then maybe the album sort of in the spring.
Yes,
maybe.
You know more than us.
We have to work out. We've got about 50 possible songs, so we've got to try and whittle it down.
So there's a lot to look forward to for people who want to hear more Salad.
Yeah, which is very nice that they want to hear more Salad. It always surprises me in a nicest possible way. I get out of my bed and dressing gown on and make a cup of tea, and I put on Facebook, and it's like people are excited about our music, and I'm like,
and it's
mind blowing.
It's growing again, isn't it? It's more people, because I was at your gigs 2 years ago and 1 year ago, and you see it's getting bigger and bigger now.
Yeah, fertilizer.
Yes. Good album title. I suppose, maybe. Could be. Well, we decided to do it here. That's great.
Right.
Marijne and Paul, thanks very much for having a chat with us today. Really enjoyed listening to the songs, and looking forward to hearing the final versions, which will be going out in Phoenix in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully. So
we enjoyed playing today.
It's been a while since you did a full band session, I'd imagine,
True.
isn't it? Yeah, so it's great that you came down and did it with us.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Our pleasure.
Thanks.